Hi everyone, my name's Sam. I work for the Marine Resources team in the Government of Jersey. I'm just one of many that worked on the Marine Spatial Plan, but I'm the lucky one that gets to talk to you about it today. And that's the tagline for our Marine Spatial Plan: a thriving marine environment providing environmental, economic, cultural and social benefits. And that's sort of throughout the Marine Spatial Plan, that's the theme. So just a little bit of context. Jersey is a 9 by 5 mile island. It's very small. Most of our territorial area is water, is the sea. And you're never very far from the sea wherever you are. Many of the people who live in Jersey interact with the ocean on a daily basis, and even those that think they don't rely on it, they do, because we get most of our food in by freight, by the ferry. We have a 3 mile exclusive fishing zone. Different to the UK, we're probably the only territory in the world that has a 3 mile, and that's because it's one of the first exclusive fishing zones. And then we share the rest of our territory with France. We license French vessels to fish in the rest of our territorial water. So marine spatial planning does have a big impact on our neighbours, and we've been very careful throughout the marine spatial plan to collaborate with them and to communicate with them about what we were doing and what was important to them as well. We do have our own laws as well. We're a Crown dependency, but we do not have the same legislation as the UK. So similar to Isle of Man, we have our own government. And we have marine protected areas as well. And marine protected areas in a Jersey context are no mobile gear, so no trawling and no dredging. And the team that's managing most of this territorial area is a team of 10 in the Marine Resources. We have habitats of importance, OSPAR recognised. There's been growing concerns from the public, same as globally, that the marine environment isn't as protected as it could be. And there's been a lot of support for that, which has had a lot of political sway. And so marine protected areas have been a big topic in Jersey. And originally they were trying to get them into our island plan process, but it was decided that actually a marine spatial plan was the place for them. And in early 2022, we were instructed to write a marine spatial plan by 2025 to fit in with our island plan cycle. And we were given £150,000. £150,000 to do that. So we needed help on board of that, and that's where our consultancy team came on board. Just a quick little video that just gives a bit of context about the sort of work that we do in Jersey. We've got lots of data sets that we're ready to go to feed into the marine spatial plan. That's our patrol vessel. We also do our survey research on there, and that's our lobster surveys, which we do every year, and we have done since 2004. And so there was lots of data sets ready to go, but they needed to be brought together into something that was usable and accessible to the public. And we wanted to bring the public opinion on board and get the stakeholders involved. And so the framework is to have that evidence base and have that accessible online through a digital atlas, and lots of workshops and consultations to feed in, and then create the plan. So from the very beginning, it was important that it was going to be community-led. So the stakeholder workshops preceded any writing of the plan. We didn't have any chapters or even the structure, the complete structure of the marine spatial plan written before we went out to consultation. Went out to workshops. So we had themed workshops, and we brought people from different sectors into the same room, gave them a map, and said, what is it that you value most, or what is it that you have the most issues with or think could be improved in Jersey's marine environment? And gave them some cards, some stickers, and said, where is it that issue is, so we could bring in the spatial context. And having different sectors around the same table really helped them to understand the other person's point of view. It's like, okay, I want to do this, but you also want to do this in the same area. How do we come to a compromise there? That was a really good way of capturing that information. And then we also had pen portraits. So you could read the whole marine spatial plan and just go through the pen portraits and get a real sense of what the marine environment means to the community of Jersey. People like the Sea Scouts went out to the fishermen. Katie from work went out and spoke to people across the board, and it really follows through the whole of the marine spatial plan and fits in with each of the chapters. And we had a very long public consultation, 14 weeks, which is longer than our island plan consultation, which is normally only 12. And it just was to give a chance. There was just so much interest in the plan, and we were talking to our neighbours, talking to Guernsey, talking to France. It was just to make sure that we were capturing all of the important information. And the key thing that came out of all of this all of the talking to stakeholders, but also talking to other departments and organisations in Jersey. Everyone had the same aim. Everyone wanted a thriving marine environment. Just everyone had different ideas about what that was or how we got there. So it was bringing that all together in a holistic approach. And that's where we have a wide range of chapters within the plan, and you can pick out one and pick the chapter that's of interest to you, but it fits in with the rest of the goals of the marine spatial plan, which is for the thriving marine environment, and those 4 pillars. So each chapter has a vision behind it, which helped to structure the priorities and the aims, the actions that came out of each one. And I'd love to talk to you about all of these, but I'd be here all day. So I'm focusing on the natural environment chapter because that's the one that feeds into our goals for 30 by 30. We're very lucky in Jersey. We have amazing marine environments, seagrass, merle. We also have reef habitats with sea fans, many more, kelp as well. And we're very lucky to have a modelled marine habitat map of our whole territorial water. This is created by Paul Chambers for a blue carbon assessment. The intertidal is very intricate. The further you get from shore, the less confidence we have in that map, but it's a very good tool for us to make decisions with and to predict or to use in decision making for things like marine protected areas. And the marine protected area assessment criteria, anything that was already a marine protected area, so this is what we're currently at in Jersey, 6.5% protection from mobile gear, that is, so no trawling and dredging. And in adding these criteria in, such as the Ramsar areas, which don't have any specific protection with them at the moment, OSPAR habitats, sensitive habitats, and any sensitive species like sea fans where we know where they are, blue carbon habitat as well, all feeds in, and we end up with this final boundary that went forward to proposal that was proposed in the first version of the Marine Spatial Plan that went to public consultation. And this was heavily debated on, heavily contested. There was lots and lots of comments that came in during the consultation. Some of them wanted more protection, some of them wanted no protection. There was a lot of evidence in certain areas that there was a really high economic importance to them of that zone, particularly from the scallop fishing industry. So we had a lot of back and forth with them. We had a lot of consultation, particularly with the fishing industry, to try and bring it into something that they maybe weren't happy with, but it's something that they could work with. And that's where we end up with this C here, the final. So B is what we proposed, and C was what was passed through the States Assembly, which is our version of Parliament. So that is agreed in principle, and we're now doing the work to try and pull that in to legislation. And that equates to 23.3% of Jersey's waters. So it's not 30%, and it was never a goal for the plan to get to 30, but it's a massive step in the way there. And this is a huge moment for Jersey. And I say when this goes through, not if it goes through, because we're doing the legwork now to make sure that this happens in the next couple of years. So yeah, it was voted through unanimously on the 23rd of October, and that's the whole plan, not just the MPAs, although the marine protected areas were the most heavily debated within that state's debate process. It was about 6 hours of debate, and I've never heard Mel talked about so much at the ministerial level. The amount of people, the amount of research they'd put into it, it was really humbling to listen to. So yeah, we have that now. We've got the political support, and we're going to be bringing together a working group, both for within government, because it's so holistic and so cross-departmental. We're going to need to keep on top of it somehow. Not all of it will fall into our team. And then we're going to be bringing the stakeholders along, and our first priority is to get the final research done. Sorry, I forgot to explain the different types. So the blue hashed area is what is agreed to go in as an MPA as soon as possible. The blue hashed is to be phased because there's a few boats that are very heavily dependent on those areas, but it's to give them time to transition. And the yellow, we need to research further before we decide exactly how much of that will be protected. But there's areas within those yellow hashed areas that have marlin. It's just making sure that we've got the exact areas before we put it in legislation. Thank you. But that was, I'm pretty much done. I just want to say thank you very much to everyone who's been involved, particularly Fiona, John, and Karen, who are here. They worked wonders on the Marine Spatial Plan. They're very a very personal approach to Jersey and spent a lot of time there, so heavily invested in it as we are, the whole team, and also to Greg and Paul Chambers, who started the plan before I got anywhere near it, because I've been working on this for a couple of years. And yeah, everyone who got involved. We do have a stand if anyone wants to talk to us in person. Thanks.